Okay, Game 5 is in the books. It is interesting that when these games end up being lopsided, Florida's the better team. And if not for blown loss, or blown leads, I should say, at certain points in this series, we might have seen the Stanley Cup being awarded tonight. So for the Florida Panthers, now they just have to hold serve at home. And they've been better on the road than at home, so that's not a guarantee. But they've already shown in 2 out of 3 games in this series, they're not scared of going into Edmonton. The crowd noise doesn't affect them negatively. They're good. And this is a team that looks pretty darn good. So there's been a lot of talk about whether or not Marchand's going to, go out to the market and what he might get. I think Marchand's going to stay in Florida, and I think he'll sign with Florida on a ridiculously cheap deal. I know what he wanted from Boston. He may not want that from Florida, and it's because he may see that as an opportunity to win another Stanley Cup. So, Bobrovsky versus Pickard, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be on Pickard, and I don't think Pickard had a great game. But Skinner didn't have a great game the last one out either, and we will probably have that conversation again. As tired as Oiler fans may be, the question becomes, if you put Pickard in the Florida net and Bobrovsky in the Oilers net, are we having a different conversation tonight? So, Arvidsson in the lineup, cap in and out, didn't have a dramatic impact on the game. No changes for Florida. Why would there be? Loud crowd because it's Edmonton, so of course it is. Rodriguez has a net drive that's blocked. Brown had a breakaway chance that was held. And as fun as that was the only shot the Oilers had for a bit in this one. Ekblad has a screenshot that saved. The Oilers have a 2-on-1 that nearly cashes in. McDavid couldn't bury it there. He was too fast, goes past the net a bit. Marchand then has a rush chance. That's blocked out. Panthers press at 4 minutes. The Oilers block. Marchand prominent early in this game. Brad Marchand, since coming over from Boston, has just been on a mission. And we'll talk about Marchand again throughout this review. And I think this is the best playoff run I've ever seen from Marchand. And I'm saying that as a Bruins fan. I think this version of Brad Marchand is just fantastic. So Panthers press at 4 minutes. The Oilers block. Marchand prominent early. Bobrovsky goes into a little bit of a butterfly, and there might be some luck on a save here, but the Oilers not able to solve Bobrovsky. Marchand has a rush chance. That's held. Shots are 3-2 Oilers at 5.5 minutes. Gadjevich went down the tunnel for an unknown reason. But for Florida, if you're down a forward, you're good. It's kind of next man up, and if you got to cover for other guys, you have to cover for other guys. Ekholm fires one wide as the Oilers press. Now Marchand has a rush chance. That's held. The Panthers press again. They're kept to the outside. And then a neutral zone faceoff. Lundell gets a puck to Marchand, and Marchand roofs one from the slot just on the rush there at 9 minutes and 12 seconds. Brad Marchand makes it 1-0 in favor of the Florida Panthers. Panthers 11-3 in these playoffs when they score first. So not optimal if you're the Edmonton Oilers, right? Florida looks for another. Fans call one, the referee does not. The penalties tonight were way down, but so was the body contact. Honestly, this had the feeling of a regular season game for long stretches tonight. So Jones has a point shot that's held. Florida's controlling the play. They're forcing turnovers. Skinner to Frederick gets picked off in the Panthers zone. The fans call another. The referee's not calling penalties like they did in the previous 4 games. Nurse has a point shot that's blocked and cleared. The Oilers not getting to the net. Really, there were 5 Panthers back on every play. If the Oilers get in the zone, you have 5 Panthers back every single time. If you're not defensively responsible, you're probably not a Florida Panthers player. So a net feed to Reinhart, near miss there. More Panthers pressure with 7 minutes left. Draisaitl hits the side of the net on a rush. The fans call for another penalty, but it doesn't happen. Still no power play there. So there's a near miss for Bennett on a net drive. The Oilers finally draw a power play with 4:16 left. Early clear, and then there's some forechecking by Thomas Nosek. So good play there. Another clear. McDavid has a rush that's blocked. Then there's a shorthanded rush by Luostarinen as the Oilers' power play struggles to get really much of anything going. A shorthanded Lundell chance is held, so the Oilers had no shots on that power play, but Florida did. And then at 18:06, after Tkachuk's shot gets blocked, Bennett goes, "I'll take it," and Bennett scores another road goal. He scores from Tkachuk at 18:06. So the Tkachuk shot gets blocked, and that's where Pickard was focusing. Puck goes over to Bennett. Bennett gets the goal. It's 2-0 for Florida. The Oilers in first periods in this Stanley Cup final have allowed 7 more goals than they've scored. This is a big problem for the Edmonton Oilers. And it's weird because in the last Stanley Cup final, the Oilers had some struggles here and there, but this is just different. Every series is different. 1:43 left. Podkolzin goes to the box, so the Panthers get a power play. Ekblad has a shot that's blocked. They cycle. Puck's cleared out. Schmidt has a wrister that's held. Things get pushy at the horn. It's 2-0 for the Florida Panthers. Second period, the Oilers finish the kill. They clear it, but they also ice the puck. So after it gets back to 5-on-5. And this is the thing. The Oilers not able to get those stretch passes. They're not getting a lot of room out there at all. Tkachuk has a turnover slot chance. That saved. Good forechecking by the Panthers because it's Florida. The fans call when the referee doesn't. Marchand fires one high on the rush. The Oilers are struggling to get passes. The Florida Panthers in passing zones and defending really, really well. Kane has a rush that draws a power play. So Florida goes, all right. They clear early again. Draisaitl then fires one wide. Puck's cleared out. Perry has a near miss on a rebound. There's a late cycle. And then Barkov clears to end that power play. It had 3 shots on net for the Edmonton Oilers. Panthers press at 6.5 minutes. Arvidsson then beats out an icing so the Oilers can get a change, which was a storyline at points during this game. The Oilers getting pinned down a little bit. Delay a game, the Oilers go back to the power play. Skinner has a screenshot that saved and cleared. The power play's killed off. 2 shots on net on that power play. So the power plays get a little more effective and then they're not effective. And yeah, that was it for the power plays for the Oilers tonight. Not really anything to discuss with the power plays. That penalty kill for the Florida Panthers, absolutely fantastic. Shots are 6-1 Edmonton at the half. Ekholm has a one-timer. That's caught and held. Panthers press with 6.5 minutes left. Relentless on the defense, the checking, the back checking, the forechecking. Everyone in Florida is bought in. They're all playing the same style of hockey. It is not flashy. It is not pretty to watch. It does not matter. If you're winning, your fans are entertained, and that's what's important. The Panthers get more pressure with 5 minutes left. The Oilers are forced to ice it. The crowd's getting quiet. This is a very Florida Panthers game. This is how Florida, when they're playing well, there's just nothing for the other team. There is no daylight. There just isn't any. Ekholm fires one high. The next chance for him is held. During a brief Oilers press, there was no traffic in front of the net. So this is the problem, too. You got Florida making sure there's no traffic in front as often as possible. The Oilers not getting those dirty goals, those deflections, this kind of thing, right? The Panthers, not a lot of room for the Oilers out there. McDavid was being shadowed by 3 to 4 players. Most times he had the puck. I keep seeing on social media, where's McDavid? McDavid's been invisible. You try skating through 4 Florida Panthers. Every time he has the puck and he starts to cross the blue line, there's at least 2 guys meeting him at the blue line. Nobody skates through the Florida Panthers like that. It's not a thing. So, I mean, I understand the frustration for Oiler fans, but unless McDavid finds a way to just split into 2 different McDavids while he's making the play across the line, and then you got too many men on the ice. So don't even think about it, Connor. But I don't see a way around it. The Florida Panthers are defending so well on McDavid and Draisaitl. Early in the series, they had a lot of room. They were really creative. As the series has gone along, it's like this vice-like grip they have on any offensive chances for McDavid. So should McDavid be able to fight his way through it? Maybe, but nobody's been able to figure this out regularly in these playoffs. No team against Florida in any of the 4 rounds has consistently found a way to get through that Florida defense. So 20 seconds left. There's a high stick by Draisaitl, and the high sticks for Edmonton are a thing. I think a lot of the time it's frustration, and Draisaitl felt that the victim of the high stick went down to the ice pretty easy, points at him and does one of those seriously, but it's a high stick. It's a high stick. And through 40 minutes of play, I had to put this on the board. Both teams had 4 slot shots. That is 4 high danger chances from in front of the net through 40 minutes. The Panthers gave them nothing through 40 minutes. They're still up 2-0. Crowd's very quiet. Third period. There's a shorthanded rush by Kulak because remember, the power play rolls over into the third period. There's another clear. The Oilers finish the kill. Just 1 shot for Florida on that power play. The Panthers, though, are forcing turnovers again. And 3.5 minutes into the period, they have the only shot on net. The Oilers' rush goes offside. Not room to get going. This is part of the problem, too. They have a rush. You have a wall of white jerseys meeting at the blue line. So the odds of going offside seem to go up. Not a lot of emotion either compared to previous games. And I don't know how you fix that. Like, for the Oilers, do you go out there and start, throwing dirty hits and stuff to get... No, because then Florida's just fired up, right? So, no. And then at 5:12, I felt it was a lost faceoff, and then Luostarinen gets it to Marchand. It's almost the same as this goal in the first period, except in this case, he goes end-to-end. Marchand buries one 5-hole. Luostarinen with the assist at 5:12, and I think Marchand has to get the Conn Smythe. If Florida wins this series and wins the Stanley Cup, I think Marchand has to get the Conn Smythe for a simple reason. If they do not acquire Brad Marchand from the Boston Bruins, I don't know that they win the Stanley Cup. I don't know that they're up 3-2 in the Stanley Cup final without Marchand and what he's provided for this team. And this is another example of why I'm giving credit to Bill Zito for what he's built in Florida. He knew to go out and get Marchand at the deadline. And other teams could have tried, but Marchand wanted to go to Florida. So shots are 3-1 for Florida at 6 minutes. Just one shot for Edmonton at 6 minutes. There's a toe save on Wallman, the Panthers rush. And then at 7:24, McDavid gets his first goal of the Stanley Cup final. He scores on a net drive. The first time he'd been able to shake the defense at all in this series. Bouchard and Ekholm with the assist. So that makes it 3-1. Oilers look for another. But that forecheck for Florida does it again, and Sasha Barkov, with the forechecking, gets the puck, puts it to Reinhart. Reinhart risks one from the slot, and at 8 minutes and 10 seconds, Florida has their 3-goal lead back. It is 4-1. Panthers press for another. McDavid is back to 3 or 4 defenders on him every time he plays the puck. So I again say I don't know what more McDavid can do when he's being blanketed like that. I don't know very many players that could fight their way through that kind of back-checking. Panthers really took the fans out of it with that 4th goal, and the relentless forechecking and back-checking, just quiet. Fans call when the referee does not, which probably for the best for Edmonton. Their power play wasn't very good tonight. Goalie pull happens with 5 minutes left. There's a post for Corey Perry. Kane couldn't bury one. The Oilers go offside with 3.5 minutes left. Goalie pull happens again on zone entry, and at 16:47, I should say, Corey Perry gets his 10th of the playoffs. So he and Marchand both have 10 goals. Draisaitl and Nurse with the assists, and I've already seen articles on, hey, does this mean that teams need a really old forward, a grizzled veteran in their lineup? Most teams that win the Stanley Cup have that kind of player in their lineup. Yeah, it does happen. I can definitely do a video on that because that's been the case for a long time. But yeah, Perry gets a rebound here and makes it 4-2. Which meant that I start hearing this. Is this the comeback? And I kept saying, no, Florida's not giving him 2 more. You might get 1. You're not getting 2. So the goalie pull happens again, and then with 1:39 left, the Panthers ice the puck, and the Oilers called a timeout, which was great for the Florida Panthers. As soon as I saw the Panthers that were over at the bench, I'm like, okay, so Luostarinen, Forsling, Lundell, yeah, I think Florida's okay with the Oilers calling a timeout on that icing because they've got their best defensive players. They're able to draw something up. And sure enough, Luostarinen hits the empty net at 18:41 to make it 5-2. There's a little bit of pushing and unpleasantness at the horn. I think that was just the Oilers being kind of ticked off at being manhandled on their home ice. But it was a 5-2 win for Florida. This is their 10th road win of the playoffs. Which, doesn't that equal the New Jersey Devils for the most road wins in the playoffs? Or was it LA? Anyways, whole other topic. But Florida's very good on the road. They lead this series 3-2, and now they go home with a chance to raise the Stanley Cup on home ice. Shots on net, 8-3 for Florida in the first period. The Edmonton Oilers at home in Game 5 with a chance to go ahead 3-2 in the series, managed 3 shots in the first 20 minutes. Then they outshoot Florida 8-5 in the second. They did manage 10 shots in the third, but a lot of those are in that second half, and they were already way behind. 6 shots for Florida in the third period. Final shots 21-19 for the Oilers. So 21 shots for Edmonton. Just a defensive masterclass by Florida. Power plays, Florida 0 for 2. The Oilers 0 for 3. The hits 27-21 for Florida. So not as much hitting as earlier in the series. Not a lot of shots either, and at points in this game, it was slow. I even after that second period, I was like, is enough going to happen for me to do much of a review? And third period, we had more happen. Bobrovsky saves 19 out of 21. Pickard saved 14 out of 18. I'll get the 4 off the board. Normally, I remember to take the 4 off the board. I always have 1 through 4 on the board just so that I don't have trouble finding it if I need it, but I didn't need the 4. There was no overtime tonight. But yeah, Pickard didn't have a great night. They probably go back to Skinner for Game 6. I don't know that it matters. If Florida plays like this in Game 6, I think it's done in 6. The Oilers, the second best team in the National Hockey League for a second straight year, and that would be tough. That's something that would definitely be very difficult because that means you're very, very close, but you're not quite there. And for Florida, if they round this out in Game 6 at home, they can go for 3 in a row next year, and that's another reason why they may very well be able to keep some of their pending free agents that there's a lot of anticipation about whether or not they might leave. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.